I haven't exactly made it a secret that I think AI is stupid. The marketing is stupid. The nomenclature is stupid. Most of the time, the execution is pretty stupid too. And now that it's being implemented everywhere, it's starting to pull on its own outputs in an attempt to better itself. It's a loop, a cheap trick that waters down its own founding concept. However, that feedback is primarily directed at generative AI's attempts at creativity, and though it's still in its awkward tween years, there are several super cool ways that AI is very helpful, and pretty much all of it is available right now in the palm of your hand. So, as penance for how much I complain about AI, here are 5 super cool ways that AI already is helping me, specifically through Google Gemini on my phone. Quick side note though before we get started. I'm a very long-winded person by nature, but my smart friend Nate says that my videos need to be quicker and shorter if I want to be successful on YouTube. So I'm going to do what I can to keep this video lean and mean. Wish me luck. I wonder if this phone's any good. 33 minutes? As if. Hey, I don't have time to watch this whole video. Can you summarize it for me?
Here's a summary of the OnePlus 13 review video. The video reviews the OnePlus 13, released in January 2025, and covers the following aspects: design and build, available in black and 21.
Toy. I don't have to watch that anymore. That's horrifying. I hate that. You know I make 1 to 2 cents per view, right? This could bankrupt me. Don't do this. I should have put this stupid tip last. How do I delete, control, all, what the? That friend of mine that I mentioned earlier, Nate, turned me on to this AI tip for when you're acting as Dungeon Master in D&D. All right, everyone, you find yourselves back in the town square. It's a peaceful day. The birds are chirping, the brook is babbling, and you see the cheese merchant that you spotted at the market earlier approach you. She offers you the daily special of mozzarella. What do? Can I attack the cheesemonger? Sorry, did you say you attack the cheese merchant? No, what is a cheesemonger?
Yeah, I'm gonna attack the cheesemonger.
I also would like to attack the exotic cheesemonger. You can't just attack everybody you see. I want to see if she's made of cheese. What has the cheesemonger done to deserve me? I'm sorry, what is a cheesemonger? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We attack the exotic cheesemonger. My level 5 D&D party of 3 is attacking a wandering merchant that sells exotic cheeses. I don't want to TPK them, but I want them to learn a lesson. Give me a stat block for an exotic cheesemonger that will prove a challenge.
All right, let's craft a challenge.
Quietly. Okay. Roll for initiative. One way to make a video more interesting is to change locations between scenes, even if you don't need to. So now I'm out in the garage and I'm doing something vaguely handy at the workbench. Here's my first tip. There are a lot of things out there to know, and in case you need to hear it, you are not obligated to know all of them. I promise. But in case you need a high-level understanding, or you're just curious by nature like me, there's an awesome way to leverage AI on your phone to make that happen. Can you explain processor clock speeds to me like I'm so dumb that eating crayons is my only motivation in life?
Okay, let's talk about processor clock speeds in a way that's super easy to understand, even if your brain mostly runs on crayon fumes. Imagine your...
I don't know how SSRIs work, and I'm too afraid to ask. Can you tell me how they work, but pretend I'm a 7-year-old with no good vocabulary and a bad attention span?
Okay, imagine your brain has little messengers that carry happy feelings. One of those messengers is called serotonin. Sometimes.
It ain't perfect, but it's honestly really helpful, especially for topics that are detailed very well across a broad number of platforms online. I'm not earning any certifications by doing this, but it does help me sound a little smarter when I'm hanging out with my friends, and if AI can do that for me, then maybe it isn't such a plague. Alright, my next tip is all about how... Wait, I gotta change locations. My next tip is all about the burden of choice. I was at a book sale recently, and I was completely overwhelmed by my number of options. So I took a picture of the bookshelf and I uploaded it to Gemini, and I told Gemini about a couple books that I do like. From there, I asked it to make some recommendations based on my preferences. It worked pretty well, to be honest. A lot better than I expected. It was my first, aha moment as far as to what AI could do when it's connected to the phone that you have on you at all times. Damn, it's windy. Here's a tip that I sort of hate, that I feel like I have to give. It almost feels like the trolley problem, but I'm semi-confident that it's still good advice. We all live in massive, angry echo chambers. My home country and much of the world right now is a political hotbed that is intent on controlling and directing your emotions in ways that are most beneficial to any given side. In a better world, you do not have to fact-check everything yourself or worry about the sources of claims. In the meantime, we're stuck in this world, and I don't have time to read every fucking research paper that comes out to validate or contradict whatever the latest weird claim is. What I have been doing isn't perfect, but it helps. Follow the data trail on important claims, whether it's science or entertainment or politics, whatever. Once you find the source material, there's a really good chance that it's large and complicated and intimidating. For example, let's say that I want to do a future video about the value of silicon anode batteries, and as I'm going through articles trying to inform myself, I find that they're all going back to this study, Silicon Anodes and Lithium-Ion Batteries, a deep dive into research trends and global collaborations. And it's thick, it's dense, it's real wordy. Don't let that scare you off. You just download the PDF on your phone, you feed that into Gemini, and you ask for an audio summary or a text summary worded in whatever way is most engaging to you. Make sure you ask it to give the sources a once-over for an air of legitimacy and call out any contradictions it finds. This is not a replacement for good research, and it shouldn't account for any amount of due diligence, because once again, AI can be wrong, and it's going to continue to be wrong often for a long time. But if you're thinking to yourself, I guess I'll just never know about silicon anode batteries because I don't have time to read an enormous study with words that I don't understand. Heck, ask it to limit its summary to only 2-syllable words. It's not that hard. And it's a little better than nothing, I think. Again, trolley problem thing, right? Obviously, this isn't foolproof, and just like any old schmuck on YouTube, AI can lie to you if it thinks that that's what you want to hear. However, with a careful and thorough prompt and tightly controlling the input data, it helps you stay sane and present in a world that demands that you constantly be reading non-stop studies and journals and papers just to be informed. Okay, now you know I have to talk about the drawbacks, right? First off, AI can be wrong a lot, and very confidently so. The AI output loop is more reliable for some tasks than others, but be cautious about trusting responses that depend on cold, hard facts, and please double check when you're in doubt. Second drawback, I know this is frustrating to hear and maybe even very frustrating to accept the magnitude of, but AI functions use a ton of energy compared to their alternatives. So if you're going to use AI, use it for things that can't really be done with any other tool. Okay, I'm gonna stand on this soapbox for exactly 30 seconds because it's a short video.
Lean and mean.
Okay, start it. Don't just use AI as a search engine. Literal search engines are more trustworthy and less resource intensive. While text outputs from an AI tool don't require that much energy, generating an image from a text prompt takes the same amount of energy as it does to fully charge your phone, and that is a lot of energy just to create a worthless picture of you riding a unicorn. Yes, this creates the same dilemma as every concern. Just like me, you've probably been preached to for a long while about how you can fight by sacrificing. And I think this places unfair weight on the consumer when you are a single drop in an ocean of AI energy usage. So what difference does it make? I have no idea, but at least now you're informed. That said, wastefulness is a dreadful quality to have. So even if you don't care about preserving your home planet, you can at least do it the honor of not generating 1,000 worthless fan art Sora clips and... I ran out of time. Oh, I'm just trying to do the right thing. Any right thing. I would take any right thing. Maybe you feel the same way about AI as I, Jacob, do. My fellow Jacobs are alarmed at how quickly everything is changing, and the quintessence of humanity, its creativity and its ability to wonder about itself, it feels like it's being outsourced to machines. I want to write books and wonder about outer space while a machine does the dishes and the yard work. Instead, it feels like I'm left with the chores while the robot does all the cool stuff. I hope this video helped my fellow Jacobs realize that AI can complement the human experience rather than just beg, borrow, and steal from it. Or maybe you're like my friend Nate. He's a pain in the ass, and he thinks AI is going to be the propelling force in the next artistic renaissance. And in that case, I implore you, Nates, to remember that you're only human, and that everything else that truly matters is only human. Outsourcing artistic pursuit and creativity to a machine, it's like burning the last saplings in a forest, just to make the fire a little brighter for a little longer. You'll never know what that sapling could have been.
That's a natural 20 to hit the exotic cheesemonger.
Oh, son of a bitch!
We attack the exotic cheesemonger.